What's upper? It's Prima with the Just Prima Show. Tonight, I'm going to share more of my blood, love, and tears. As promised last week, I'm going to discuss tonight sexual indiscretions, things that affect us from childhood to our adulthood, things that go from generation to generation when not addressed, things that my family in particular are uncomfortable talking about, and I'm very comfortable talking about. I would love for us to dialogue about this at the end. Send me any questions, any comments, any feedback. I appreciate it. I'll be here 1 hour after this show from 9 to 10 p.m. to answer questions, to chat with you live on my YouTube page, Just Prima, Justpr1ma. Not on Facebook, not on Caribbean Life TV, but on Just Prima, Justpr1ma on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
If you think you know me, you didn't really know it all. I've been through my shared struggles and I'm still here standing tall. Never the type to fold. If I fall, I wouldn't fear. I'm giving you all of me. This my blood, love, and tears. If you think you know me, you didn't really know it all. I've been through my shared struggles and I'm still here standing tall. Never the type to fold. If I fall, I wouldn't fear. I'm giving you all of me. This my blood, love, and tears.
Tonight, as I promised, I'll be sharing stories about my experiences with sexual indiscretion, molestation, incest, things like that, as quick and brief as I can in 1 hour. I also would like to stay tuned in the end for an additional hour on my personal YouTube page, which is Just Prima Pr1ma, so that I can chat live with you. It would just be on Just Prima Pr1ma on YouTube for 1 hour, so from 9 to 10 tonight, so that we can chat. Any questions, any comments? Maybe I can answer any further questions. So here we go. The reason why I'm sharing my story and the reason why I am exposing certain things is because I believe when you expose certain things, it no longer has power. Molestation, sexual indiscretions, incest, molestation, whatever you want to call it, those things carry on generation after generation. They affect families across the world, where some people think that it's normal. It's really not healthy. In sharing my story, I have met several people, in particularly men, that discussed that it was the norm for them because, the term kissing cousins was just what it was. For me, I'm comfortable sharing what is uncomfortable. I'm comfortable sharing because it has affected my household personally. It has affected my household, like me, people around me, people in my extended family. And me feeling as though, or believing that if my family members prior to me had shared their stories or exposed certain people in our family, just like a lot of families, that it could have stopped, or it would have not been as severe or gone on with as many victims as it has in my particular family. My first experience, excuse me, my first experience with sexual indiscretion happened with a childhood friend. The childhood friend probably right now would not, or at that time may not have seen it as sexual indiscretion. However, it was. My childhood friend had other siblings, and this particular childhood friend was a female. And the childhood friend wanted to explore and play exploration, and we were told not to say anything to anyone, and it was our little secret. And in that being our little secret, of course, trusting who you were with. Again, I grew up in a Christian household, so I attended church for an extended period of time. I went to Christian school, and in going to Christian school, as I got older and became more aware of sexual sins or sexual indiscretions, I often wondered who touched this particular girl, because this girl grew up in a Christian household and looked to be the perfect family. And a lot of people probably perceived it as the perfect family. And I'm not certain if it was ever discussed amongst her parents or with her siblings, but it is something that should have been addressed, and that I don't feel like it affected me in particularly, that situation. However, there are other children that it does affect. There are other people that are close to me that are young girls and young ladies that have experienced these things. And me, of course, they're going to get in trouble. They're going to be put on punishment. They may get a spanking. That's what parents do now if they catch their children in the act. However, from my understanding, in our family, there were certain adults that were aware of things happening, and what they said, it was brushed off as kids to be kids. But if I believe that if you allow children to misbehave or to have bad behavior, then they'll believe that it's okay and they continue on doing it. So why not have the conversation and the dialogue so that it doesn't continue, and that they don't hurt someone else, and that they don't affect other people. With that, let me say, I am in a very sensitive space right now. I'm in a very sensitive space because some information that I have received recently that was unexpected is really dear to my heart with friends and family as I'm sharing certain things. So I'm a little taken back, so to speak. So I feel like I'm, a little off, but here we go. Again, I felt like I grew up in a Christian household. Whether you're kissing, whether you're rubbing, whether you're touching, whether you're on top of each other, whether children, I feel like a lot of times children do what they see. They watch things on TV. They may see things that their parents are doing. And for me in particular, I try to be very discreet as to what I expose my children to, who I expose my children to due to my experiences. I remember being told, and I don't recollect this myself, but other family members told me that there was a family member that was caught with me when I was 5. I don't recall. However, I was not the first person, and I was not the last person with this particular person. Later on in life, experiencing what I experienced with a childhood friend, I did not tell my parents initially because I was told that this was going to be our little secret. So, it's a secret, it's fun. That's what you think. Until I got older. And once I got older, I realized that that wasn't a secret. It wasn't fun. It wasn't safe. It wasn't funny. It wasn't cute. In sharing my story, I hope that this will create dialogue. It will cause families to pay more attention to what goes on with their children in their home and outside of their home. I pray that it causes people to come out and tell the truth. I asked some family members in my particular family to come out and, you know, share some of the things that happened to them. Some of them, their children aren't aware what happened to them. When I told of some things that happened to me, they weren't comfortable sharing it, and they shared it later in life. And once they shared it later in life, I was not very interested in discussing this with them, because when I told, they allowed me to stand alone and did not share the things that had happened to them, which I later found out was worse than the things that happened to me. I feel like when, again, if you keep secrets, it has more power, it has more control. And the evil, the darkness, the disgust is able to affect other people and other people and other people, and our family not being brought to justice. In my family, cousins, cousins messing with cousins, siblings messing with siblings, fathers with their daughters. And again, they are not as comfortable sharing as I am. In sharing, I have experienced some questions. I was asked, you know, was I going to say people's names? It's not for the purpose of making someone feel bad or putting someone on Front Street. It is to bring healing, to cause dialogue, to hopefully bring deliverance for the church people, to bring awareness for you to be on alert and keep your eyes open as to what's going on in your household, and to not be quiet, to speak up, because it really changes lives. It affects who we are as adults. Sometimes the prey becomes the predator, male and female, because in my particular family, the prey most of the time were the women, and there are women that are in my family that became the predators. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it, and I want to talk about it. I think it's very important. And again, in my family, because things happened, I'm 49, and I am aware of cousins that are in their 60s that did not say anything, and because they didn't, then it happened to me, and then it happened to the generation under me, and then to my grandchildren's generation. And when is enough enough? So for me, enough is enough. Because I'm on social media, I have to be mindful of the things that I say as far as people's names, which was not my purpose. I have to be mindful of the victims that I'm speaking of. So I'm trying to be conscious of what I say and think, because normally I speak really, really fast. Right now I'm speaking slow because I feel like a Band-Aid has been ripped off my heart, and I still want the message to come across. I am thankful that I had parents that believed me. I am thankful that I had parents that had open dialogue with me. I had open dialogue with my children and with my nieces and cousins, but in particularly in the family I grew up in and the family that I raised children, and all the cousins that came in the house. However, I also know that adults can manipulate, or other children can manipulate other children. And although you tell your children that they can tell you anything, and you tell your children that, you know, I have an open door policy and we can talk about everything, there are adults or predators that know the right thing to say or the right way to manipulate your children and cause them to not share certain things with you, cause them not to say the things that they need to say or let you in. And some things you don't find out until your children are adults. So your children, you know, later on in life, when if they had been comfortable sharing with you that you can do other things, or you could have helped them, or you could have gotten them the help that they needed if you didn't know how to help them, or you could have handled taking matters differently. I'm going to say that. I had In my case, the childhood friend that said this is our little secret, and she said this was our secret, so I kept it a secret. But as I got older, when the major situation happened that shifted things in my life, pretended to disclose information to my mother, and later on I found out that that person did not disclose the information to my mother. So I walked around feeling as though my mother was mad at me because my mother did not say anything to me. Other people in our family who were threatened and told that if they told their parents that they would kill them or they would kill their parents. And with that happening, secrets went on for years, like years and years and years. I know of other family members that were pregnant by relatives within our family, and like brushed under the rug and not addressed. So with that being the case, I pray that, again, me sharing my story, that it will cause dialogue, and I'm willing to have that dialogue. As a child, although I had the experiences of sexual indiscretion, I had a great time in school. I did not really experience any sexual indiscretion in school, in elementary school. In the Christian school, you know, we prayed, we believed that God was good and everybody was good. But as I stated before, during this particular time, and I'm gonna say the first sexual indiscretion, I could have been like 6 or 7. So this is prior to me finding out about other changes in my life that wasn't true. I remember at the Christian school, I really didn't see anything sexual going on. It wasn't until I got older in the public school. Yeah, in the public school. I had lots of fun singing in the choir. There was a particular song that I liked that has gotten me through a lot of things in my childhood and even in adulthood. It's the song that the choir director and childhood friends sang, and I don't even know if I don't think I've heard this song anywhere else in my entire life, but it was called "I Will Cast All My Cares Upon You." So as I went through other challenges in life, when I felt alone, when I felt like there was not a safe space, the song goes like this: I will cast all my cares upon you. I will lay all of my burdens down at your feet. And anytime I don't know what I should do, I will cast all my cares upon you. So, things that I had questions about, things that I wasn't uncertain about, the secrets that I was told to keep from childhood friends that were not male, female. That was a song that I would sing to get me through. I was active in church. I was active in school. I wasn't shy. I spoke probably more than I speak now, and I wasn't nervous. I was allowed to be free and to be me and have this bubbly personality. It wasn't until the secrets came that it changed my personality, so to speak. Although I still spoke and I was still verbal for the most part, where life was once bright, life began to be a little gray, so to speak, before it turned a little darker. With life being gray, I'm not certain at what point when I was a child, but thinking back, when the sexual indiscretions happened to me, life began to be a little darker. When I found out about the adoption, life began to be a little darker. So I began to be suspicious in life, where things didn't feel as safe. So hopefully as adults and as parents, we monitor the shifts and see the shifts in our children and continue to talk to our children and ask questions. And I remember my mom getting up saying at night, when I had children, that she used to walk at night when we were kids because she knew of some of the sexual indiscretions that went on in our family when she was growing up. So she would get up at night, open doors, and check on us, and because sibling on sibling stuff happened in our family too. So that's why she got up and walked and made sure everybody was in place and she didn't catch anyone. As a child, I didn't know that, but once I became an adult and started having my own children, then I heard it and I understood why. And later on in life, and in particularly most recent, in recent situations, I understand why completely. I remember my mom would tell us that we couldn't let any relatives in the house unless she was at home, male or female. And although I listened to her, I still question, well, why? That's our family, that's our cousin, that's our uncles, that's our aunts, or whatever. She was like, if you let anybody in the house when I'm not at home, I'm gonna beat your behind, because my mother did not use profanity like I do. I'm thinking about things that I can remember my mom telling me or being very particular about that I didn't quite understand when I was a child, but I began to understand, or I now understand as an adult that has children and I have grandchildren. Clearly, I have both male and female from my womb. So I don't feel like one is worse than the other. I have had recent conversations with people that have expressed that maybe the sexual indiscretions with the male child is less significant than it is with the female children. Because I am a boy mom, then I don't feel like it's any less traumatizing or less traumatic, let me say that, less traumatic to a male child than a female child, because I feel like there's psychological things that happen that cause us to be prone to certain things or have tendencies to do certain things. And whether you retreat or whether you decide to become a predator yourself, who knows? But if adults handle situations better and if adults spoke on things and addressed things, then things can be handled different. People can be protected. Children can be protected. Justice can be served. Where in my particular family, justice has not been served, unfortunately. Again, like I've said before, I do believe that karma visits everyone, and I am praying that karma continues to visit those that have affected me and my particular household and our family. Because you reap what you sow, however you want to say it in the church, or for the religious people, what goes up must go down, what must come down, what goes around comes around. It has caused a lot of shifts and changes in me, in my heart, in relationships, me moving forward in relationships, how I moved. I'm in a much better place, but I can tell that there are times that I know that it stems, things in my intimacy stem from things that happened to me as a child or a young person. So with that, I am going to take a break and we'll be back. Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. And to Prima's own self, I'm going to be true. Although me being comfortable makes other people uncomfortable. And Just Prima is about me, my life, my ups, my downs, my trials, my triumphs. It's me being encouraging, empowering, and inspiring. I will say anything, you don't know what will come out my mouth, so don't be surprised. As a child, I don't want to sound all sad. I'm not all chipper and perky like I have been sometimes, because this is really a sensitive matter of my heart. I must keep saying that, expressing that. I loved to color and draw. I loved music, coloring books. That was fun for me. Things that I did up until life changed for me. I loved skating, riding my bike. I like to ride with no hands. I climbed trees. We had wonderful snacks. Our candy lady, like, I don't know if anybody remembers Now Laters. Now Laters. I love Now Laters. I tried really hard to find, I don't know if I can open these, y'all. But I tried really hard to find something else that was fun for me, which was like the bolo bat. I have tried really, really hard, y'all, to find a bolo bat. And I have not been successful. So if anybody has a bolo bat, you know, I'm going to get a post office box and y'all can send it to me. Email me at I'm just Prima, JUSTPRIMA. I wanted a bolo bat for the show. My candy is sticky. But Now Laters is a fun candy for me. And I love Now Laters. I was looking for Johnny Apple Treats and Alexander the Grapes. I didn't find them. I didn't go to my side of town that I grew up on, the west side of Atlanta. My little cousin had a bolo bat, y'all see. It doesn't have the same effect, but as close as I could come to it. I love to jump rope. I can't really do it because I can't get off camera. But for those of you that remember, this one childhood was fun. Before life happened. Oops, sorry. I used to lead songs in the choir. Now they're taking too long to chew when you get older. I used to sing another song with my uncle at my other uncle's church. And that song was, Lord, Prepare Me to Be a Sanctuary. I think I did that or mentioned it. But Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Not knowing that life was going to happen. So those are things that I'm reminded of in my adulthood that I sang. Another old song, and I played, I did play it on the song, on the show, Lord, I'm Available to You. So in all the things that happened in my life, as far as the sexual indiscretions and the other things, I do want to say, I am not angry, I'm not bitter, I have forgiven, but I do want to put certain things out so that things don't happen to other people in my family, people around me. And if I can help somebody else, then that's what I want to do. So those songs came up in my spirit lately in working on this particular show. And those are things that I wanted to share. We also grew up in a neighborhood where we had a candy lady, y'all. I don't know if anybody had these kind of cookies. I'm sharing all the fun stuff first, I guess, in between. But we used to have butter cookies. I went to the dentist last week and got my teeth cleaned. And I didn't want to do all this candy, cookies and stuff. But this reminds me of fun time. So hopefully it'll make me feel happy before I go into my next segment, where I'll kind of be reenacting certain things that happened to me. And if you're offended, sorry, but not sorry. If the shoe fits, wear it. This is another fun. Some of the people in the studio, they said they didn't have any of this when they were growing up. They don't remember any of this. But I used to like hot fries too. I might as well open all of it and taste it, because it won't be on next week's show. Or I'll save some of it for the kids. Do any of you remember this? Cheddar fries, hot fries. I don't know what happened to my little Kool-Aid packs, y'all, but I had Kool-Aid up here. So this is my grape Kool-Aid with a little lemonade in it. What happened to my Kool-Aid? I don't know. Cheddar fries. I don't think I can eat all this, but y'all remember lemon heads, Boston baked beans, all this was fun stuff. Yep. The blow pop. I am going to eat some of this gum. Oh, here's Kool-Aid, y'all. And this was probably made before I was born or when I was a kid. Kool-Aid. Anybody want to chime in or message and remember the fun times? Talk about the fun times before life changed. Big League Chew. I'm going to tell y'all if it tastes like it did when I was a kid. I liked baseball. I like watching baseball. The Braves. My dad liked baseball. And we used to try to fill up our mouths like we had tobacco. But for the sake of TV, I won't do that. Social media. It tastes kind of soft. I looked for the big lollipop, y'all. The big one, like that was as big as our face. But I guess my face got bigger, so I couldn't find one my size. That made my face look bigger. I'm not going to open this. I'll save this. Hot Pickles. We used to have a candy truck that used to come through our neighborhood that sold candy. So with that, I'm going to take a break because I don't want to seem like I'm just talking. I was in the Girl Scouts. I was in Georgia Youth on Parade. We were not allowed to complete certain things, and things were not as consistent in our life because our parents worked, and with them being tired, we had to stop doing certain things. So we started things and did not complete certain things. And I know that some of the things that we were not allowed to complete, or some of the things that may not have been paid as much attention to, was because my parents had their own adult problems and marital issues that, of course, naturally would spill over to children. That, again, when you're wrapped up into your things, sexual indiscretions can happen with your children. Thank God none of that happened in my house in particular that I recall. So please be aware. Stay watchful, stay prayerful, ask questions, have dialogue, and we'll be back in a moment. Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. And to Prima's own self, I'm going to be true. Although me being comfortable makes other people uncomfortable. And Just Prima is about me, my life, my ups, my downs, my trials, my triumphs. It's me being encouraging, empowering, and inspiring. I will say anything, you don't know what will come out my mouth, so don't be surprised. All right, we're back. What I am going to do is, when I was a kid, our family we were planning a family reunion. And in planning the family reunion, I used to play the flute. I don't have it anymore because I gave it away to a child that needed a flute. So for the sake of, I played the flute. My sister played the clarinet. My brother, I think he was trying to play drums or bass. However, we were in the process of planning the family reunion. We were asking, could we go to a cousin's house? We're going to put that here for a moment. I was the little cousin that babysat the other cousins and the relatives, friends, my parents' friends' children, because I was the oldest and supposed to be the most responsible. I love to draw, as I stated before, and in drawing, and I like doing poetry also. So things that I remember as a child drawing was Snoopy and Charlie Brown. I enjoyed drawing. I had cousins and relatives that cultivated this drawing. I loved to color. I have my rainbow bubble gum. I could have been, like I say, about 10, 11. And I remember my mom saying, Hey, y'all can't go. Like I said, she wouldn't allow us to go to, she wouldn't allow people to come to our house unless she was at home, meaning relatives, male or female. I was good at braiding. I braided hair in our family. Back in the days, we had men and women in our family that love for you to braid their hair and scratch their scalp and oil their scalp. So I was one of the little cousins that did that. The coloring and the poetry, I did poetry. I remember writing a poem about friends, and I guess I was about in the 5th or 6th grade. And it wound up being an Atlanta public school newspaper because I went from Christian school to public school at this point. I found out about being adopted right before going into public school. So poetry was an outlet for me, coloring, drawing, and I had relatives that cultivated that for me. We get to the point, like I like coloring, and yeah, this is ugly now, but I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you can. Can y'all see this? I don't know, but that's my Charlie Brown. That's my Snoopy, and I started Raggedy Ann, but it's ugly now, and this is like a lot of years later, 30, 40 years later. I had Raggedy Ann and Andy painted on my bedroom wall by my cousins. That was fun because I liked it. Laffy Taffy. This is other fun stuff when I was a kid that reminded me of my childhood. Playing in the band. So at this particular time, we were planning a family reunion, and not the same because I got this out of the dollar store, but serves a purpose. We were going to do a performance. We begged and begged to go to this cousin's house. And my mom said, no, 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 no. Later, my mom said she should have went with her first mind. And as a parent, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I can say that I learned to go with my first mind. And my mom wished that she had gone with her first mind, but we begged, 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 could we go? And she finally let us go. And going to this particular cousin's house, that was an adult male. And going to this particular cousin's house, not knowing that his family was not at home, my mother, and we didn't either, neither did we care as children because we wanted to go have fun. So we get over, it's evening, it's TV time, and because I could braid hair, this is a girl's face, but because I could braid hair, I braided, and you know, back then we used to scratch the scalp and put oil the scalp and stuff. So I'm corn rolling hair, but as a child and for the sake of TV, social media, you're sitting and I'm sitting up on the bed, and sitting up on the bed, this male cousin is sitting between my legs on the floor, and I'm braiding hair. We're watching TV, laughing, blah, 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 telling jokes. And I have my sister and brother there. And while I have my sister and brother there, again, I still have this free spirit and laughing, and I feel safe and, you know, all this good stuff. It gets to be time to wind down and watching TV. The head is complete. You know, the hair is complete for the sake of TV. As we're watching TV, you know, you're laying down on the floor and you're coloring and you're drawing and all that great stuff and laughing and talking, how is school and how is da da da, and you're doing all this and your children feel safe. Parents, please talk to your children. Please question your children. Watch where they go. Watch who they spend the night with and all that, because adults or predators know how to prey on your children or your young ones. It's time to go to bed, and I am the oldest. And with me being the oldest, my siblings laid on the floor on this particular evening. And when they laid on the floor, I was told they were laying on the floor because, you know, little kids pee in the bed, and I'm years older than my siblings. So they were supposed to lay in the floor on pallets, and I was supposed to lay in the bed. And laying in the bed, this particular cousin woke me up and was like, hey, do you want to go get some ice cream? My favorite ice cream was butter pecan ice cream. So in going to get the butter pecan ice cream, I was like, oh, well, how are we going to go get ice cream? It's dark, it's nighttime, the store is probably closed. And I was told, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll find something for you to slip on. It's all right. I had a nickname, and I was addressed by my nickname. And then being addressed by my nickname, it's like, hey, well, you don't have to color anymore. You don't have to watch TV. Like, let's go get some of your favorite ice cream. And keep talking about school and the kids at school. And I remember being asked, did I have a boyfriend? And of course, I didn't have a boyfriend. Like I said, I had just come from Christian school to the public school. I have found out that I was adopted. I have now experienced, you know, believing that adults don't tell the truth, that the people around me kept secrets. I did not realize that I was broke until I found out I was broken, meaning the father that I felt like should have been a part of my life began to not show up and not be who I thought he was going to be. So now I began to experience rejection or abandonment. So the other adults around me didn't seem as safe as this particular cousin, who always kept me laughing and joking and encouraged the things that I liked, which was drawing and poetry. So at that time, this older cousin, I'm like 10, 11-ish, and I believe this person was like 29. I don't think he was 30 yet, but 29, and asked me to go to the store to go get my favorite ice cream to make me happy, because I'm talking about the things that I've experienced at home, because just like I talked now, I was able to talk then. So I say, okay. I was like, but I have to get dressed and I have to put on my clothes. He said, oh, you don't have to put on any clothes. You can just put on your shoes and I'll give you something to cover up. It was summertime. And with it being summertime, I didn't have to put on clothes, he said. Just keep on your gown. So for me, I looked for something that reminded me of when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I had like a blue gown with little ruffles and stuff on it. And with the blue gown and the ruffles, I wanted something and I found something. So you would know and understand where I am coming from. I'm going to get up and I'm going to show you what I was told to put on, or what was given to me to go to the store to get my favorite ice cream as a 10, 11-year-old child with my adult cousin, who eventually was a predator, who had not only that I wasn't the first one. There were many before me that I found out later, but others did not tell. So as a child, you feel safe by your cousin, the adult, that seems safer than the other adults around you. I had all these fun things for you to see: my youthfulness, my innocence, the things that were cultivated, how adults can use those things to prey upon your children because they feel like they're safe, or they know the things. For the predator, they know the things that your children like, and they know the conversations to have with your children that you may not be having with your children, the time that they're spending with your children, the listening, the being able to be fun, where parents are working, parents are busy cooking and cleaning and so preoccupied with the cares of life that they forget to invest in their children. Not to place blame. I wasn't at home. I was somewhere else. And I was told to always tell my parents and talk to my parents, and I could talk to my parents about anything. And even though all those things were told to me and expressed to me, I still became the prey. So I'll be back momentarily, like real quick, so I can show you what I was told to put on as I went, and I'll share a few more things with you to say that to show you that no matter what I was told and taught, I still became a victim of sexual indiscretions. Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true. And to Prima's own self, I'm going to be true. Although me being comfortable makes other people uncomfortable. And Just Prima is about me, my life, my ups, my downs, my trials, my triumphs. It's me being encouraging, empowering, and inspiring. I will say anything, you don't know what will come out my mouth, so don't be surprised. We're back. So this is what I was told to put on. It is not mine. You know, I had to get something really big to like show y'all how big it was on me, although I'm a bigger girl now. So I was told, you know, it's cold. We're going to go to the store. Just keep your pajamas on. Of course, I didn't have on these little biking shorts, y'all, because I was a kid. So he was like, just roll it up so it's not too big on you. Okay. We get in the car so we can go for a ride, and don't put on, you know, you can just put on your little flip-flops and come on and get in the car, and we're going to ride. And we're going to get that butter pecan ice cream, and we're going to continue to talk and talk and talk. And you can tell me, and I'm like, I don't have a boyfriend. And I was asked like, well, don't you want a boyfriend? Well, when I get married, you know, you're supposed to be married, and all of that. Then you start talking about boys. So, you know, we're riding in the car as I'm being asked all these questions, and I guess being primed, I would say being primed. So as I'm being primed by somebody that was supposed to be safe, because most of the adults in my world were not safe at the time. So I thought, because this particular adult cultivated the fun stuff in my life and the things that made me happy, which was the drawing, which was the coloring, which was the poetry, and all of that. So we come back from the store. We're eating ice cream, we're talking, we're laughing. I feel like now as an adult person, I know that I was being primed for what the plan was later on that I was not aware of, because I was not as experienced as I am now. I am definitely more aware and more alert than I was as a child. So it's time to go to bed. I'm tired. I was told I was tired anyway. I don't remember how long it was, but we did leave my siblings at the house while we went to the store. My siblings were still asleep after we ate the ice cream, and we're laughing and we're playing and talking about childhood and all of that. So it's time to go to bed. And when it's time to go to bed, it's like, hey, get in the bed and lay down. And, you know, I know you're tired. You need to go to sleep. So when it's time to lay down, it's an air condition right here. Like, this is the wall, and it's an air condition. So clearly I'm not hot. I could literally lean over like this and touch the air condition, but I was told I was hot after I was under the cover and I'm asleep. And the cover was pulled off, and I was turned around. And after being turned around, this person got on top of me. And in getting on top of me, I had to look really hard for these pajama pants, y'all. The pajama pants that has the hole in the front. I don't know if you can see. Well, let me do it this way. The pajama pants that have the hole in the front. So I can't get so graphic, but I just want y'all to see this part. So when the person comes in and we're in bed, the person has to come and lay down. And when the person lays down and is on top of me, I am quiet. I don't know what's going on. I am confused. And I'm never for a loss of words. I never have a loss for words. At this particular moment, I had a loss for words. not certain as to what was going on. I knew that it wasn't right. I knew that I was uncomfortable, and what was proven again is that adults are not safe. I know my sister and brother were laying on the floor. I remember coughing, trying to wake them up. I was afraid to speak or yell because the person was on top of me kissing me. The person was fondling me. The person touched my chest because I didn't have any breasts, so that's why I tried to, make it look like that. I remember trying to scream but having my mouth closed like and this particular person saying, I know you're hot, and trying to lift my gown up, and I'm trying to keep my gown down, and I'm trying to keep my legs closed, and this person prying and prying and prying, trying to make me open my legs. And of course, that person's legs were stronger than mine. I remember tears, and praying. I remember feeling through the hole him falling on me, falling on my stomach. I remember trying to suck my stomach in so tight and tight and tight and praying that it would go away and it would stop. I remember him trying to penetrate. I remember trying to cry louder, hoping that my siblings would wake up. I remember a sibling sitting up, but really not sitting up. I would assume at this point that the person, whichever sibling it was, kind of turned over, sat up and turned over. I remember being kissed and the person saying, trying to penetrate, and because I was crying and trying to hold real tight and saying, then after being unsuccessful for so long, thank God, was not completely successful. I was able to kind of knee the person and run downstairs, and in running downstairs, I was crying. He was apologizing and saying, I'm sorry, I didn't know you was gonna cry. I'm trying to just get down the steps, as I go to the floor. But it was a phone. It was a phone in the kitchen downstairs. The phone was up on the wall like this, so y'all can see. I was able to dial my number 404-696-2006 to try to reach my mom. And the phone just ringing. And my mom didn't pick up, or no one picked up. And this had to be after midnight, based on what he said later. The person evidently, while the phone is on the wall, hung up the phone here and continued to speak. And told me that, oh, that's okay, I'll tell her what I did. My mom, which happened to be this person's cousin. And in telling what he did, he told that we had gone to get ice cream, that I just had on my gown. Something happened, that this person must have been turned on and did some inappropriate things, that the person got on top of me, that the person kissed me, that the person tried to penetrate me. So me, at this point, I run out of the kitchen and I jump on the sofa. As he was on the phone telling the stories, I'm gonna put the phone up here. As he was on the phone telling the stories to my mother, I'm thinking, I might drop it. I'm on the sofa and I'm rocking. I remember crying and I just want to go home. I just want my mama. And then he says, oh, he hangs up. Well, your mom said just stay into the morning. You know, it's after midnight. So if you stay, she'll come get you first thing in the morning. So it comforted me because I believed that he told the truth. I believed that he spoke to my mom, and I heard him say everything that he had done to me. So I believed him. And in everything that he said, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay up, and I'm crying, and I'm trying to, and you know, as a kid, I'm dozing, and I'm trying to make sure I stay awake, and the time is passing so freaking slow. But I'm waiting for morning and I'm scared to fall asleep. And then eventually he comes and sits on the couch in front of me, and he apologizes, and I'm sorry, and I love you by my nickname, and I would never do anything to intentionally hurt you. And I'm like, wow, like you would never do anything to hurt me, but you hurt me. I didn't know you were going to act like that. I didn't know you were going to cry. I was a child. I was a child. I trusted you. I was innocent. I hadn't been tainted in that way. In other ways, yes, but not in that way. I couldn't wait till morning. I remember it was morning, and my sister and brother were up, and I'm trying to hurry up so we can go. And we clean up. I'm like, we got to fold up the covers. We got to go, you know, whatever. And as we leave, it's a street called Memorial Drive in Atlanta, well, Decatur. We stop at a gas station on Memorial Drive by DeKalb County Jail. Across from DeKalb County Jail, actually. Now it's kind of changed to something else, like it's just space now, and then something behind it. However, across from DeKalb County Jail, it was a gas station. We stopped there to get gas because he's going to take us home. I'm looking for my mom to come, and eventually he changed and said, oh, your mom said bring us home, bring you home. We go stop at the gas station. I thought that I could tell my sister and brother what he had done, but he kept saying, Prima, get out the car with me so you can help me get gas. Or Prima, when we got to McDonald's, Prima, get out the car with me. So every time I looked back and he stepped out the car, I had to get out the car too because he did not want me to tell. Long story short, get home. My aunt is there with us from college break. And after 2 or 3 days, my mom never said anything to me. So I thought my mom was upset with me or that she was mad, although we talked about everything. And although she told us we could talk about anything with her and we had open dialogue, I believed what he said. I believed that he told my mom everything, and I believed that she was upset with me. So I asked my aunt not to tell my mom because I was just waiting on her to say something to me. And I asked her to promise that she wouldn't tell. Of course, she told, as 18, 19-year-old should. My parents then confronted me, asked me why didn't I say anything. I said I thought I was in trouble, and I explained that he told you. And my mom was like, no, he didn't tell you. And I was like, yes, he did. I heard him. He was on the phone, and he talked to you, and he said. And I really believed that he had told the truth. But after going back and forth with my parents, who I wasn't certain of, I finally believed my parents that he did not tell the truth. At some point, he was asked to come over to the house, and coming over to the house, at this point, I'm in a shell, and no adults are safe. He sat across from us in the house, and, you know, he said that I didn't do that. I would never do anything like that. You're my favorite little cousin. I love you. I just love you. By my nickname, I just love you. Why would I do anything like that to you? And me, I'm like, yes, you did. You did this, and you did this, and you did this, and you did this. And you got on the phone and you said you told my mama, like you pretended like you told my mama, da, 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 da. And I believed that adults told the truth, but adults didn't tell the truth. So he was another adult that did not tell the truth. And I remember running out the room, going into my bedroom, falling on the floor like, he's lying. And my parents said that they believed me. I remember them telling him the only reason why they weren't going to kill him is because he wasn't successful in penetration. However, if he was caught around me again, that something would happen to him. I remember speaking with my grandmother who was in California, and her sisters and her siblings who called and questioned male and female. Prima, what happened? Prima, what happened? I had to tell the story over and over and over again. They knew, because later on in life, I heard and found out that he had done things to several people in the family, and a lot of the kissing cousins. So that was normal, I guess, in our family. I remember his mother saying I must have done something to turn him on, and that was my aunt. I won't say how, but that was my aunt on my mother's side of the family. And it just changed my perspective on adults. Moving forward into, my 8th grade year, going into my 9th grade year, I was a cheerleader. I had a quote unquote boyfriend at this time that I did not want to have sex, and he wanted to have sex. I broke up with him because I didn't want to have sex, and he was trying to pressure me. After we broke up, a couple of weeks later, we were walking from school to the library I was walking with my best friend. This particular guy snatched her book bag, ran in his house. I was kind of like a tomboy and had quite a bit of frustration built up in my life. So I was not afraid of boys or men at this point. I remember chasing him inside of his grandmother's house. I saw her book bag sitting in the doorway, so I ran in the house not knowing that he was behind the door. And when he was behind the door, he slammed the door, locked the door, drugged me in the bedroom. I remember hearing her knock at the front door, knock, 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 knock. And eventually I didn't hear any more knocking, but I remember him pulling my pants down, fondling in a very aggressive way. I remember fighting and kicking and biting and scratching and kneeing. And by the time I got out, my best friend was gone. I told him I was going to tell his grandmother. I was able to knee him and get free. In the meantime, I was bruised on the top and the bottom. I was hurt. I had hickeys on my neck. My hair was messed up. I finally got free, went to find my best friend, and she had gone home. Confronted her, took her bag, got to school the next day. I hid it from my parents, but one of my teachers, because my parents would have said, you shouldn't have ran in his house and you should have known better. And I just wasn't thinking, because I was always the protector or always there for people that I cared for. So I did it unconsciously, but I know different now. Got to school the next day, the teacher called me fast because I had hickeys on my neck. And what had I been doing? Not even knowing the story, not asking questions, but she said it in front of the classroom and kind of embarrassed me. And I said some choice words, got sent to the principal. And when I told the principal the story, that's how my parents found out. My mom confronted his grandmother. He apologized. And that was no longer someone that I dealt with. Saying all that to say, the story has been long, eventful. It caused me moving forward during intimacy, when I wanted to be intimate, when I was touched a certain way, although the people that I chose to be intimate with, it could make me feel some type of way or remind me of how I was touched in the past. I remember not wanting the lights on during intimacy. I remember being very stiff or tight. I remember times where I did not feel comfortable during intimacy. Later on, those things, and this is even in, being married young, because I got married at 17. I did not want to take my shirt off. Like I said, I believe I said I didn't want to turn the lights on. Later on, as life happened and more disappointments with men, that is what led me to being an adult entertainer, or dancing in the clubs of Atlanta and Florida and Columbus and Alabama, Mississippi, because at that point I was in control. So many things that happened to me where I had been a victim of men and the things that they had done to me, and I just had to accept it. I just had to live with it, and that's just the way the world was. So being in the club allowed me to be in control of men where they had for so many years been in control of me. Hi, it's Prima with the Just Prima Show. What I wanted to do is tell you about me and my story, my life, my blood, love, and tears. I'm an open book. Ask me what you want to know. I would appreciate it if you emailed me at imjustprima@gmail.com. I can answer all your questions and comments. Saying all that, I'm going to end just for a moment. I do have a small announcement. Let me say that I have a small announcement. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I will be here live for the next hour from 9 to 10 p.m. on Just Prima, Pr1ma, on YouTube, not on Facebook, not on Caribbean Life TV, but I would like for you to send all your questions, your comments, your feedback. Let's chat. If any of these things that I've shared tonight resonate with you, I would appreciate it if you hit me up. I will be here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on Facebook, Prima K Donna, or Caribbean Life TV. And also I'll be on YouTube every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on Caribbean Life TV, or just JUSTPR1MA. And you can email me at imjustPrima@gmail.com. So I'm waiting for you to chat with me in just a moment. Hi, it's Prima. Thank you for joining me tonight as I shared again my blood, love, and tears. I will be on live from 9 to 10 to answer any questions, respond to any comments, maybe respond further. I do want to say that I hope that this creates dialogue and conversation within families, including our family, that it brings healing and restoration, addressing holding people accountable so that it doesn't continue on generation after generation. So I would like to say thank you. I would like to give a shout out to Shine at All Tangled Up Hair Salon and Barbershop for curling my hair. I would like to give a shout out to Mr. Teague for coloring my hair. I would like to give a shout out to Maya Minx for my eyelashes, the colorful eyelashes, and my makeup and wardrobe is done by me. We can't, if we could have zoomed out, y'all would have saw. And I had a lady named Miss Betty who is in Madison, Georgia, that does handcrafted jewelry that designed this for me. Can our camera go back at all? At all? I do have my laptop here. I'm waiting on y'all to respond on my YouTube page, Just Prima, JUSTPR1MA, until 10 o'clock. Again, thank you. See you next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. See you then.